Hey-o, it's me, Rick.
Ciao, it's me, Millie.
And this is episode 35
35
of season 3
3
of Yonks Ago!
Season 3, could it be Donny B? Who is he? Just another bit of history that we're gonna get to know in a brand new little season of Yonks Ago. A father and a daughter putting on a show, finding out about people from Yonks Ago. Y-O-N-K-S Ago. Y-O-N-K-S Ago. Fact or fiction? We don't know. Y-O-N-K-S Ago.
All right, here we go. All business.
Back at it again.
We've had some ramshackle openings, but never have we felt so professional from the get-go.
I fear one of our best.
Yeah. So does that mean it's all on the up and up, or is it a portent for a calamitous episode?
I just fear if we just don't talk about it, it'll be fine.
I've already jinxed it.
Yeah, you've gone ahead and jinxed it.
So, look, we can't lose, I guess, because if it goes well, then it's because we started strong. If it goes badly, it's because I jinxed it. Mate, we're on a win-win. Always give yourself an out. That's our motto.
Definitely.
Here in episode 35.
How do you feel?
Oh, yeah, I feel good. It's a Wednesday Arvo.
Yeah.
A little later than we have been podcasting normally.
It's quite nice today, the weather.
Sunny day. There's a little hint of spring in the air, even though spring's a long way off. We are right in the middle of winter. Are we right in the middle?
Well,
tail end?
We're getting to the tail end.
Okay. The tail end is in sight.
Yeah.
So this is just like a little sneak peek of what spring can bring.
Yeah.
It's a little spring bring fling. And I like it. A nice day, 19 degrees, very pleasant in the sun. And I guess perfect conditions for podcasting here on a Wednesday Arvo.
And also cricket, would you say?
It would be perfect cricket weather.
No clouds. I haven't seen clouds.
Nah. So this is right on brand for the Don Bradman story that is unfolding before our very ears.
Dang.
So in the last episode...
What happened, Dad?
Donny B got put in charge of the Australian cricket team.
Oh, I mean, we've all been there.
He's Adelaide's best stockbroker at the moment. And he's Adelaide's cricket captain, South Australian cricket captain, and now he's Australia's cricket captain.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, this will be too much for Donny B. And indeed, it did seem like it was too much to begin with. He could barely score a run. He double golden ducked it.
Embarrassing.
Across two tests, not in the same tests. So he spread it out. He spread the golden ducky love. And everyone was like 2-0 in the 1936-37 Ashes series.
May as well just give up.
We've made a terrible mistake giving you the captaincy.
Yeah.
And then he turned it around.
They jinxed it. They anti-jinxed it.
England were like, there's no way we can lose from here.
Yeah.
Don Bradman has capitulated as a batsman now that he's the captain. And we cannot lose this series. We're 2-0 up. No one has ever lost a series from 2-0 up. It can't be done. And Don Bradman said, hold my beer. I'm about to make history. And he just started scoring runs at will.
Yeah.
He started making crazy strategic moves on the field, off the field, around the field, near the field.
I reckon it was a double bluff. I reckon he double bluffed.
He ropey-doped
He was
him.
like,
yeah.
You thought...
I'm so weak. I can't captain. I can't bat. I can't. Wait
Sucked
a
in.
minute. So he came back and he won the next 3 tests, taking the series 3-2.
I mean, we've all been there. I've done that as well.
No, I mean, it's par for the course for you.
Just an average Sunday, really.
If you're not 2-0 down in an Ashes test series, you're not happy. I mean, it's your default setting.
Yeah.
How you feeling, Millie? Oh, 2-0 down in an Ashes series. Like, all right, then, that's good. Enjoy. That's the only way to start the day. I don't get out of bed unless I'm 2-0 down in an Ashes series.
You know it.
There's no point. And so he's answered the naysayers in emphatic fashion, put himself in the history books. And look, so impressive was his performance that the King of England himself sent Donny B a telegram of congratulations.
Who was the King of England?
I'm going to say it's George the something.
Yeah.
It's always a safe bet, pre-Elizabeth, that it was George the something. So he's getting telegrams from kings saying,
Slay.
and the king wanted to say, 5 well-contested matches were played in the friendliest spirit in which Mr. Bradman has once more given evidence of his predominant skill as a batsman.
Slay.
So hats off to him.
Bessie's with the king check.
Yeah. Soon after the series, Bradman, in collaboration with journalist William Pollock, began writing his life story. It's like it's time. The world needs to know.
Not like Socrates, am I right?
No one knows what he was up to, but soon everyone will know what Donny B was up to. And when they say Bradman in collaboration, I think it was just Jesse meeting with William Pollock, saying, "Oh, sorry, Don couldn't make it today. He's feeling poorly, but he's told me he's written some notes about what he wants to get out about his life." So Jesse was definitely in charge of writing that.
I mean, he was dealing with the loss of a son.
Yes,
he was. Battling through it.
Yeah, he needs some personal time for his mental health.
Yeah.
So Jesse, get out there and do some work. So they began writing his life story, including aspects of his 1937-38 season. So already they're up to date. Mm-hmm. They're like, that was a great series. Let's put it in the book. And his form was steadily magnificent through the summer of domestic cricket.
Slay.
In all first-class games, he scored, over nearly 1,500 runs at an average of 89, hitting 7 centuries with a higher score of 246.
Okay, so just
having a good time.
Yeah.
A solid Donny B domestic season. Meanwhile, plans were made by the London publishers to bring out Bradman's book entitled My Cricketing Life. Jesse came out with that one, for sure. In 1938, just in time for the arrival of the new Australian touring side. So they were heading off to England for the next Ashes series on English soil in 1938. So Bradman's tour squad arrived in England in April 1938 to find an atmosphere akin to a lull before the storm.
Ayo.
Spoilers, Hitler, the bully boy, was throwing his weight around in Europe.
Yeah, he was.
So it's 1938. It is really just right there. It's on the horizon.
It's on the precipice.
Yeah. And this ties right in with the Nancy Wake story.
Where's Nancy Wake at right now?
Yeah, Nancy Wake would have been in France, I reckon, about now. Probably living the high life with our man whose name we can't remember. Henri. Legend. Rest in peace. One of the many Henris. So this is very much tied in with the Nancy Wake story, running parallel. He arrives there to play cricket. So obviously Hitler's starting to make waves in Europe. He was beginning to rant about reuniting Germans beyond the Reich, which was code for taking over Austria and Czechoslovakia. England was being run by, can you remember who was the Prime Minister pre-Churchill from the Nancy Wake story?
No.
It was lame-ass Neville Chamberlain.
Neville Longbottom.
He was a quiet diplomat of the old school who favoured appeasement with Germany. He was like, no trouble, guys, no trouble. I guess you can have Austria. I mean, it's pretty German. They kind of, that's fine, I guess. But no more. All right, a bit of Czechoslovakia, but no more. That's it, was the general way he was running things. So the political situation in the UK and in troubled Europe dominated conversation as soon as Bradman and the team arrived. But apart from that, he found little different in the England that he loved. Because he was, obviously living the privileged life of probably the most famous foreign sportsman ever to visit Britain at that time. So to him, the place was still wonderful, just delightful. It must be
nice.
He was entertained by the establishment, who embraced him as an individual with a status beyond that of a diplomat or even a national leader.
Dang.
He's in a class of his own. He had a busy touring schedule. He was exposed mainly to the Townhouse Country Weekend, and he was chauffeured around in a Rolls Royce.
Slay.
So Bradman was back as captain for the first time. This is the first time he's been the captain on English soil, and that brought with it responsibilities far beyond his normal day-to-day. So he had to make speech after speech.
He's probably got the earpiece in.
He loathed. But his quirky individual wit worked well in his addresses and endeared him to the British. Guess who's writing his speeches?
Jessie.
100%.
She's in the ear.
She is running the show. So Britain are like, gee, he makes a good speech. God, doesn't he? What a good turn of phrase. Isn't he approachable, likable, relatable?
What a well-spoken young chap.
He's got a real, but he's got he's got the masculine form, but he's got a real feminine sort of undercurrent.
Yeah.
He's the perfect speaker. So hats off again to Jesse Bradman, who has turned him from nothing into everything.
You know how they say hats off? As like, well done. Could you like turn that around and be like, hats on when
hats
on,
buddy.
When someone does
something lame.
You're like, oh, hats on.
Yeah. That's what they were doing to Neville Chamberlain when he was appeasing.
My hat is on right now.
What are you going to do about that? He's like, we'll let him have Austria. Hats on, Neville.
Yeah.
Hats on.
Currently gluing my hat to my head. I'm going to start using that, actually.
Yeah. I think that is a worthwhile turn of phrase.
Yeah.
Hats off to you.
Yeah. Thanks.
Hats off to you for hats on. Yeah. You've nailed that. So Jesse's speech writing has made him very popular in Britain now that he's the captain, running around doing speech after speech. And so the new team has arrived. So who have we got? Bradman's back, of course. Stan McCabe. He's always a solid, rarely
Stan.
talked about member of the team. Bill O'Reilly's there as well. The man who'll get off a train and play a cricket game.
Oh my God, I always forget about him.
But then we've got a whole lot of new people on this English tour.
All right.
Or people who haven't toured England before. You've got Charles Chiller Walker.
Yeah, we do.
Chiller. Spelt Chilla.
Yeah, yes. Is that like a nickname?
He's a stone cold chiller. Yeah, it's in inverted commas. Yeah. I like that as a nickname, the chiller.
Yeah.
Brown's there, Chipperfield's there. He played in the last Australian series. So they were at the new ones. My apologies. The new lads on the tour were Badcock,
Oh, no.
Sid Barnes, Frank Ward, Lindsay Hassett.
Lindsay.
Our man Fingleton's made it on tour. Bradman didn't let him on the last tour.
Right.
He did score a lot of runs in the last series, I seem to remember.
Yeah.
So he's forced his way in, despite the fact that Bradman does not like him.
Feud.
But he knows he's got to be good. Got to stay good, otherwise Bradman will drop him. So look, but once again, our man, the smiling assassin, Clary Grimmett, controversial omission. But in Bradman's judgment and the judgment of his fellow selectors, the 46-year-old's best... Oh, well, to be fair, he's 46 years old.
He is 46.
So probably a bit rich for the smiling assassin to be expecting to be picked at 46. Though it was a different time.
Yeah.
And he is just bowling leg spin. And basically he didn't have to run around in the field if he didn't want to back then.
Yeah.
But Bradman said, no, you're too old, you're done, you're dusted. And Bradman, back in the domestic series, had a chance to play against Grimmett and had given him a bit of a sledge that he couldn't bowl leg breaks anymore. He was relying on the flipper, which is a type of ball. And so Grimmett, the smiling assassin, decided to take it up to Bradman on the field and bowled Bradman for 17 after half an hour and said, that will teach him that I can bowl a leg break.
I'm on his team.
Which he said to his teammate Richardson. Now, this is here's something we hadn't considered about the career of Don Bradman. I'm going to throw this in there as quite a controversial, eye-opening statement here. So he's got Bradman out for 17 and he's raced up to his teammate and said, that'll show him that I can still bowl leg breaks. And his teammate Richardson has said, you silly bloody bastard. That will cost us £1,000 each. Because Richardson knew that a big innings by Bradman would have the crowds coming through the turnstiles. And back in these days, the cricketers weren't on big contracts. They were paid by, the gate. You know what I mean? They were getting, like, if a lot of people came to the game, they get more money.
Yeah.
And so he's saying, if you get Bradman out, we get less money. So how much of Bradman's career was based on the fact that he was a draw card?
Popular.
And they're like, should we get Bradman out? We could if we want to. Or do we want to make tons of money?
Ayo.
That changes things.
It's giving the rich get richer.
It is. So, look, Bradman put in the hard yards early on to become an entertainer.
Yeah.
The fans loved, so they're coming through the door. But there had to be a tipping point where, as Richardson says, the opposition knows
Now he's just doing absolutely nothing. You know, Jesse's like running his whole life behind the scenes. On the field, no one's getting him out.
Yeah.
Because they're like, no,
Man,
I want the paycheck.
I want my payday. So this
He's
does
just coasting, man.
this does taint the whole Bradman
Ayo.
the Bradman career because I mean
Overrated.
cricketers like a payday.
Yeah.
And now, I think this little situation has been fixed in the current day because now cricketers are on contract.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how many people turn up to the game. They get paid their wage regardless. So that's kind of been eliminated. But definitely during this period,
Ayo.
asterisk against Donny B and his at least definitely his domestic record has definitely got to be in question, Millie. I am doubting the validity. So Clary Grimmett's been omitted. Bill O'Reilly, our man who will get off a train to play cricket, claimed. Now, this was in tapes left with the National Library of the Australia's Oral History Archive,
Right.
which was only made public after Bill O'Reilly's death in 1992. So no one had heard this tape. But he claimed that a dressing room confrontation in the 1937-38 series, which was in the last episode, between Grimmett and Bradman caused the spinner to miss the 1938 tour. So it's a bit of beef.
Yeah.
So it's O'Reilly's saying it's got nothing to do with how well he could bowl. It's just Bradman had a bit of a tiff with him and said, "You're not playing no more, buddy."
I think Bradman's a bit of a villain.
Now, Bradman has, when asked about this, said that's totally untrue.
Yeah.
This was just part of the long-running vendetta by O'Reilly and Fingleton. So now it's O'Reilly and Fingleton.
He's always bringing in Fingleton.
So much beef. Oh, who's at the centre of all the beef all the time? Donny B.
Bradman.
B for beef. That's
Yeah.
what he is.
Yeah.
B for bloody beef. And if you're at the centre of all the beef, you've got to start to wonder who's to blame.
Exactly.
Who's B for blame? I think we all know the answer to that. I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth, but this is
Yeah. It's a bit sus, isn't it?
This episode is just heaping question mark upon question mark. There's only one punctuation mark that we need for this episode, and it's a question mark because there's a lot of questions. Who's writing his speeches?
Maybe like a question mark with an exclamation point right after, so you're like, question mark.
Yeah.
You know?
That's got a name, doesn't it? Like a question mark with an exclamation mark. Is it a?
I don't know.
Is it interrobang? Interrobang?
Wayo, that sounds cool.
Maybe it's an interrobang.
That sounds sick.
So look, this is the beef going on behind the scenes of the 1938. So there's war on the horizon, but there's also a little bit of war going on in the dressing rooms. But who's going to take on Don B? He gets telegrams from Kings.
I would take him on.
Well, you'd never play again, Millie. Although Fingleton's still playing.
Yeah.
You've just got to make sure you are very, very good all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, non-stop good. All right, so let's get into the stats of the 1938 tour.
Statistics.
So the first test, where are we? We're in Trent Bridge in Nottingham.
My favourite place.
They go out for the toss. Who wins the toss?
England.
England does
Let's
win the toss.
freaking go!
England does win the
Let's
toss.
go.
And they elect to bat. They make a massive 658
Ayo.
declared.
Slay.
And then, look, our man Stan McCabe, who I said the quiet achiever, we don't talk about him much. He made a double century in reply, 232, as Australia made 411, which
Lame.
was not enough, obviously. So I think England even made them follow on after they made 411. But then in the second innings, our man Donny Bradman came out and made 144 not out. And the match ended in a stale draw.
Lame.
The match was drawn.
Yeah.
England were unable to press their advantage, and Donny B held true, but couldn't get the win. So it's 0-0. Now, we will remember, Australia have the Ashes at this stage. So in terms of this series, they only need a draw. So still advantage Australia so far. England need to do better. Second test comes around. We are in Lords, the home of cricket.
Ayo.
They go out for the toss. Who wins the toss?
Australia.
England wins the toss.
Whatever.
And once again elected to bat. And once again amassed a pretty good total, 494.
Nice.
But Australia, no slouches, 422, just a little bit behind. Then England answer that with 242 declared. So Australia had to come out and try to, make about 300 runs.
Yeah.
They got to 204. Don Brabham, once again, a century, 102 not out, holds firm, but they are unable to win. The match is once again a stale draw
Lame.
with no one able to press their advantage for a win.
Has there ever been a series that's like every game is drawn?
I bet there probably has.
That'd be so lame.
So 0-0 so far after 2 tests, 2 drawn, a lot of runs scored, but no results. Third test comes around, and the match is abandoned without a ball being bowled because of terrible, terrible weather.
Lovely.
So that's 3 tests down. Not a result to be seen. Only two matches left. So then we get to the 4th test, and they go out for the toss. Where are we? Headingley in Leeds. They go out for the toss. Who wins the toss?
Australia.
England wins the toss
Get
once
stuffed,
more.
Dad.
And they elect to bat once more. 233. That's
not good.
That's not their best effort so far. And then Australia responds. Our man Donny B gets 103. We make 242 for a slender advantage. And then England comes in for their second innings. Bill O'Reilly gets the ball to talk and gets 5 for 56 and gets England all out for 123.
Nice.
So Australia only need 107 to win, and they get it
Easy win, surely.
with only the loss of 5 wickets. Australia
Nice.
wins the 4th test, and
So
I mean they can't.
So they've won
They've
the
pretty
series?
much retained the Ashes with
Yeah.
that thing. But can they win the series?
yeah, that's what I meant.
Or will it be a drawn series? So there's only 1 test match to go. We've already retained the Ashes, so a bit of a dead rubber. Only pride at stake. We are at the Oval in London. They go out for the toss. Who wins the toss?
Australia.
England wins
Get
the toss.
stuffed.
Australia did not win a toss this whole series.
Lame.
England won the toss and elected to bat once more. Now England, they haven't won a game this series. They will not retain the Ashes, but they make 903 runs.
How?
Declared.
In how many days?
Well, that's 335. I think it was like 3 days.
How do you even get onto the next innings?
Well, I know. Are they going to be able to win this game? That's the question.
Yeah, like you can make all those runs, but
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
you just wasted half the test.
Yeah, I mean, now, hang on a seckie. All right, so while England were on their way to their in excess of 900 runs in their first innings, so probably day 3 sometime, at 4:25 p.m. with their score 7 for 887.
Ayo.
So there are 887 runs already. Don Brabham, captain of Australia, was bowling. He brought himself on to bowl.
Oh, lame.
He's taken wickets in the past. So he's coming to bowl with them at 7 for 887, and he trips over on his weak ankle in a hole at the crease and breaks his leg.
Deserved.
His tibia.
Deserved.
A little bit of tibia. Hats on, Don. Hats on.
Do you reckon he cried?
So he had to be helped from the field. Yeah, he's got a broken leg.
I have to have a little laugh. I'm sorry.
So this was quite the tragedy for the game. Fingleton is also out. He's also injured himself
That's
during
a bit
this.
Sus.
So your Brabham and your Fingleton are like, cannot bat. And so we are in deep trouble. They make 903 declared with our man broken legged.
Personally, if I was Don Bradman, I would still bat with a broken leg.
You can still hit 4s.
Yeah.
Just don't run.
Yeah.
So we make 201 in reply in our
Slay.
first innings, and then we are all out for 123 in our follow-on second innings. England absolutely destroyed us, leaving Don Bradman a broken. He ends every series in a medical dire situation, doesn't he? So look, England, they tied the series 1-1, but Australia retained the Ashes.
Yeah.
But absolute
At
calamity
what cost?
for our man. Yes, this is a debacle. Now, what I didn't say was the bit I knew there was a bit that I wanted to focus on. Before the third test, which was washed out, the Australian Cricket Board had said that wives weren't allowed to none of the cricketers' wives were allowed to come on tour.
Oh, yo.
Because Don had said, Jessie's coming over, and we all know how much Don needs Jessie on board because she is doing the bulk of the work. And in fact, he was probably thinking, I could probably take one of these tests off, send her out in the Don wig, and she can have a bat. She'll be fine. And the Australian Cricket Board has said, no wives on tour. And Don Brabham has said, I quit cricket. He says, said, no Jessie, no Don. And they hastily, he was convinced to hold off, don't send your resignation in just yet. We'll have a little chat. And then it was, they reversed their decision and said, all right, wives can come on tour.
He's got too much power.
Yeah, I know he does. He's
not the power of blackmail.
He's like, yeah, that's right. And now he knows. If anyone ever has trouble with him.
Why were they banning the wives in the first place?
I don't know. Stupid move.
That's giving sus.
Yeah, it was very sus. Maybe they would I think someone behind the scenes was like, can Don do anything without Jessie? Let's see if we separate them for a little while, what happens? So anyway, Jessie was allowed to join Don on tour and continue to write his speeches and, I don't know, probably should have been out there bowling for him in the fifth test so they didn't break his leg like an idiot. So he's recovering. Jessie's there. And look, on the 19th and 20th of September, the Czechoslovakian government reluctantly accepted, the plan to allow Germany to take control of the German-speaking areas of Czechoslovakia, which was basically just part of the appeasing, offer to Hitler, which was like, take just the German-speaking bits of Czechoslovakia. Yeah. That was his vibe. That was Chamberlain's vibe.
Yeah.
If anywhere that speaks German, fine. And so everyday papers carried articles about war preparations in the UK. In London, troops had started digging trenches in the parks.
Oh dear.
Depots opened for the fitting of gas masks. The population was informed about air raid shelters. So it's all go in terms of war is coming. And the underground in London was marked out by the authorities as a suitable place to take refuge. Aware of the pressures, Bradman told a press conference before he and Jessie left England on the 28th of September, "My greatest impression is of the magnificent calm and spirit of our British people during these last troublesome days. I know we all fervently pray for peace." That's a nice little speech Jessie whipped up on the spot. So then Jessie and Don happily reunited. They travelled across France and Italy for 2 weeks. Definitely ran into
dinner party at
the same time as Nancy Wake. I
reckon they had them over for dinner.
Nancy Wake, although she wouldn't be bothered. She wouldn't even know who Donny B is.
Nah, but I reckon.
I reckon too. Surely their part.
Audrey would have been like, "Oh, I've got this mate from Australia." And she's like, "Oh, I'm from Australia / New Zealand, Australia." Yeah,
that is outrageous. So they were going through France and Italy for 2 weeks before heading to Naples. And they found that the continent was a far different place from cheerful England, which was still hearing about appeasement from Chamberlain. Yeah, so look, they've had a little tour before they head back to Australia. That's probably all the time we have. A lot going on. Hey, Jessie, once again, making Don who he is.
Yeah.
Also, Don's ability to bring crowds through the gate definitely puts a question mark against his record at home and abroad.
Massively sus.
And he has started throwing his weight around in very real and palpable ways. If you get in beef with Donny B in the dressing room, you will not play cricket again.
It's not good for you.
Unless you're Fingleton, who's just
somehow he's
really
a sneaky one.
I don't know what he's got. Has he got pictures of Don Brett? Did he get photos of him and the entertainer from Bowral?
Ayo.
The only way Fingleton is still playing cricket is if he's got incriminating evidence of our man Donny B.
Or I was thinking maybe he's like a nepotism kid, and he's just like a bit famous. He just knows some people.
Yeah.
his dad's like on the board of cricket.
Yeah, there's got to be something.
like that.
It's either incriminating photos, which I'm a fan of,
Yeah.
or he knows some powerful people.
Yeah.
Either way, Fingleton is
He's not your
throwing
average
his own
Joe.
weight around.
Yeah.
Got to respect Fingleton.
Yeah, I kind of like Fingleton. I'm on Team Fingleton.
Yeah, we're Fingleton fans.
Yeah.
Hats off to Fingleton, hats on to Don.
Yeah, I'm on Team Anti-Don a little bit.
And I think donning a hat is putting a hat on.
Ayo.
So that makes sense. Because if you doff a hat, you take it off. If you don it, you put it on.
Where does that come from?
It's just it's a phrase that relates to taking on and off clothes.
Yeah, and I was asking where it came from. Because
Can't tell you. I've told you all I know.
Didn't just sprout up from nothing.
So look, that 100% checks out that we are saying hats on to Don.
We've uncovered these secrets. My leg is going to sleep a little bit. Just going to stand up.
Maybe your leg's broken. Maybe you've Donny Bradman. Donny Bradman the ankle.
Phantom leg break.
But that is, look, all the time we've had. War is coming. That's going to put a real dampener on Donny B's cricketing prowess. But what's he going to get up to during war times? I tell you, we're going to
Chillaxing.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Playing some snooker.
Yeah, because
golf.
I don't feel like he goes to war, but I mean,
Who
maybe
knows?
he does.
Maybe he gets stuck in Europe.
Yeah, hanging out with Nancy Wake. He's on the O'Leary line.
Yeah.
All right, we'll find out what happens to Donny B during the war in the next episode of Yonks Ago. Slay.
Slay.